I would like to congratulate all of you whose candidate won the debate last night. The guy you hated lost. The guy you liked won. If your guy wasn't on the debate stage, he absolutely won. If he was on the debate stage, he won. And all the guys you disliked, they lost. Congratulations to each of you for your candidate winning the debate. But I need to say something I take somewhat personally. There was that exchange between Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley.
Well, I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which is about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Adult daughter. The next generation of Americans are using it, and that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just scum.
You're just scum. He is. Vivek Ramaswamy played a game of three-card Monte last night. He was asked a question, and he threw a lot of big words out to avoid answering the question on China. It was very interesting how he kept refusing to answer questions when it came to China. In particular, on the TikTok, when he uses TikTok, TikTok is a Chinese government surveillance app run by the Chinese Communist Party that is flooding America with a bunch of trans propaganda and pro-Hamas propaganda. And Vivek Ramaswamy decided he wanted to attack Nikki Haley's daughter and throw up a bunch of dust so that you then wouldn't realize, wait a second, he never answered the question. Why is this guy on TikTok and he's not doing anything to criticize or condemn it? He never answered the question. And the response from Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign team is that, well, Republicans attack Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is a crackhead who, in addition to using his money for his drugs, used his connections to raise money for him and his dad through what appear to be corrupt interests. There's a direct tie to the president of the United States and the internal business dealings of Hunter Biden and some nefarious people. If you can't understand how that is different from a private citizen, recent newlywed, recent college grad whose mom happens to be running for president but is otherwise a private citizen who's not out on the campaign trail and not using her family ties to benefit herself, you're an idiot. You're a malicious cretin. You're scum. That I realize some of you may not like Nikki Haley, and that's fine. Some of you may not like Donald Trump. That's fine. Some of you may not like Ron DeSantis. That's fine. But to praise or approve Vivek Ramaswamy dragging a candidate's child through the mud to go after her mother when the kid did nothing other than be a private citizen living her own life, that's really bad. That people would cheer this on is a sign of the low character. And I do want you to understand that if you are cheering that on, you are a person of low or no character, like Vivek Ramaswamy. That was just wrong. But not only that, strategically, it also helps Nikki Haley. You know, what's going on here, though, the DeSantis people like to say that Donald Trump isn't scared of Nikki Haley. He's leaving Nikki Haley alone. He's only attacking DeSantis. That's not really true because everyone knows Vivek Ramaswamy is Donald Trump's proxy on that debate stage. He is there to benefit Donald Trump. And so Donald Trump, through his proxy, is attacking Nikki Haley while Trump goes after DeSantis. He is attacking Nikki Haley. Donald Trump is. He's just using Vivek Ramaswamy to do it. Trump can only attack one at a time. So he's attacking DeSantis while he uses Vivek to attack Nikki Haley. Vivek is the only candidate on that debate stage to have his negatives double in a month. He is the least Vivek Ramaswamy is more despised by Republicans than Republicans who despise Donald Trump. It's remarkable what this guy has done solely to get in the good graces of Donald Trump. And no, it's not to be vice president. He's made himself too radioactive to be vice president of the United States. He doesn't want to be vice president of the United States. He's running the most expensive race for a cabinet position ever, and maybe wants a pardon for something. Good Lord, a man of that character, low character, probably has done something that he's going to want a pardon for at some point in the future. The rest of the debate, I would like to thank Chris Christie for actually answering the questions. This is Chris Christie answering the question from Hugh Hewitt on what would you build in the Navy? How many ships would you build? What sort of ships would you build? Where would you deploy them? That was what Hugh Hewitt asked. Hardly anyone wanted to answer the question specifically and precisely except for Chris Christie.
You know, my first observation, Hugh, is that nobody answers your question. And my second observation is these three in the middle think they're the enemy. I know China is the enemy, and that's what we should be focused on. So let's be really clear. The nuclear submarines in this United States Navy is the greatest deterrent to Chinese aggression, and that is the first place I would go to increase American naval power. Our nuclear submarines are able to move stealthily, quietly, and effectively, and if we are going to deter China from invading Taiwan, the only way we're going to do it is to make sure that they don't know whether how many nuclear submarines from the United States of America are in the South China Sea and in that area and ready to strike on them if they decide to move on Taiwan.
Good for Chris Christie for actually answering the question. This is also Chris Christie on on TikTok. Something again. Tim Scott answered the question. Ron DeSantis answered the question. Nikki Haley answered the question. Vivek Ramaswamy, who's on TikTok, chose to attack a private citizen whose mom is running for president to avoid answering the question of why are you using a Chinese surveillance site.
Governor Christie, do you agree with Chairman Gallagher? And if so, would you ban or force the sale of TikTok?
I agree 100% with Chairman Gallagher. And let me say this. TikTok is not only spyware. It is polluting the minds of American young people all throughout this country. And they're doing it intentionally. And when you saw what happened in the last few weeks with all of this anti-Semitic, horrible stuff that their algorithms were pushing out at a gargantuan rate. This is China trying to further divide the United States of America. And this is one of the big failings among many of the Trump administration. He talked tough about TikTok. I heard him do it many times. But when it came down to it, he did not ban them when he could have and should have. And now since then, we've had an additional nearly 6 years of this type of poison being put out throughout the United States, even putting aside the spying, which we know is going on, and the theft of American personal data and information. So in my first week as president, we would ban TikTok. They want to go ahead and sell it, let them go ahead and sell it. But I'll tell you another reason we would do it. Facebook's not in China. X is not in China. They're not permitting a free flow of information to the Chinese people from our social media companies, yet we just open the door and let them do what they're doing. TikTok should be banned because they are poisoning American minds.
Amen and amen. That was a clear answer. The others, except for Vivek Ramaswamy, could give a clear answer. My buddy Scott Jennings on CNN last night offered some commentary on Vivek's performance. And by the way, you should know Vivek said before the debate his strategy was to be, quote unquote, deranged on stage. That was his stated strategy before going on stage, where he, well, carried out his strategy.
I thought Haley, by the way, just on the merits, had a really strong night, abortion and otherwise. I thought DeSantis had a really strong open. I thought, so if you agree that it's gotten down to those two as the real possibles here, they both were very good. There were some great answers tonight on DeSantis, was assailing Biden over some of his response on Israel. I thought Haley taking on Ramaswamy when by the way, Ramaswamy's like he's like the guy running the ship in Spaceballs. He went right to ludicrous speed right out of the gate.
Yeah, but people like that, Scott. They like it.
He's like 4%.
The empirical evidence says otherwise.
In the realm of Mel Brooks movies, Spaceballs was not maybe the finest, but I like his Spaceballs.
And then there was Van Jones on what the Republicans were able to do on stage with very strong answers on Israel.
Special Advisor Van Jones. Van, we haven't heard from you tonight. What'd you make of?
I thought Nikki Haley gave a master class on foreign policy. I thought she gave a master class on abortion. If you just took those two clips, you could teach a course on political communication, conversation. She's a force. She's a force. I also thought Israel was mentioned. I thought the Republican Party took advantage of some of the disarray in the Democratic Party and stuck up for Jewish kids who are scared to leave their dorm rooms and all that kind of stuff, and came very, very forcefully saying that Jewish kids shouldn't be scared to leave their dorm rooms in this country. And I thought that was an important development in the conversation overall.
Yeah, it was very interesting that the Democrats haven't been able to speak clearly on anti-Semitism. That they keep muddying the water, say anti-Semitism is bad, but Islamophobia is really, really bad. There was none of that last night. There were very strong, forceful answers from these Republican candidates across the board, and I'm glad that they were. I'm glad they were very strong in their statements. This from Ron DeSantis.
I would be telling Bibi, finish the job once and for all with these butchers, Hamas. They're terrorists. They're massacring innocent people. They would wipe every Jew off the globe if they could. He cannot live with that threat right by his country. That Hamas should release every hostage and they should unconditionally surrender. I'm sick of hearing the media. I'm sick of hearing other people blame Israel just for defending itself. We will stand with Israel in word and in deed, in public and in private. And I can tell you, as governor, I actually did something about it. Biden's neglect has been atrocious. We had Floridians that were over there after the attack. He left them stranded. They couldn't get flights out. So I scrambled resources in Florida. I sent planes over to Israel, and I brought back over 700 people to safety. There could have been more hostages had we not acted. And I'll tell you this, I met the first plane load when they came to Florida, and one of the mothers pointed to a 6-year-old daughter, and she said, my daughter had been saying the last 2 nights, Mommy, I don't want to hear any more bombs, no more rockets. I just want to get back to Florida. So there's a difference between words and deeds. We acted and we saved lives.
Now, what's notable here is NBC News chose to fact check that, and they said it's only half true because DeSantis relied on a nonprofit to fly the jets over. I'm not making that up. NBC News, which ran the debate and, by the way, did a better job than Fox. NBC News' debate, far more substantive, less combative, more organized. The questions were better. But they actually fact-checked DeSantis, who raised the money, found the planes, and got a flight to Israel to rescue Americans. And said, well, it's only half true. He didn't actually fly the plane, essentially, was their fact-check. What a bunch of garbage from the fact-checkers, as per usual.
Want to be on